Hey everybody, it's Wendy. Welcome. So excited that you're here today. We are going to be making a quilted Christmas card and a cute little box. And I am collaborating with the one and only Raquelle Clifton. So you're going to want to make sure you check out her YouTube channel and her blog at aladyandherstamps.com. So we're going to use the Quilted Christmas. Her and I decided to both use the exact same stamp set and framelits and see what happened. So to make the little box, you're going to score 1/4 of an inch from each end of this piece of cardstock. By the way, the cardstock's cut at 5.5 by 5.5. Then you're going to turn and you're going to score it 1/4 of an inch, 2.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches, and 5 inches. And this is all the scoring you need to do to make this sweet little box. Then you have to do some trimming away. We are going to trim away these little corner tabs here that are little bitty because there's score lines there. Then you're going to trim about halfway down on this first tab and then all the way into the first score line. So you kind of have like little tabs for the top of the box. This is going to be the top of the box. Trim at a diagonal so that you have these nice finished edges. Again, you can see here I'm going to cut halfway down, then I'm going to trim in on this score line and only to that first score line where the box starts. And then we're going to trim in at a diagonal again. So this creates the lid for our box. All right, the next step is to go and trim in using your paper snips to that first score line to create all the tabs for your box. So in this step, technically you could probably just cut away that middle flap, but it was easier to just fold it down when I folded the box up. But here's the cool thing about this box. To close this box up, you only need to put adhesive on these 2 tabs. That's it. You're going to fold the middle tabs in, fold the back tabs forward, and then the front ones will fold over the back. So that holds the box together, and the box is nice and sturdy. And the front of your box then has these beautiful seams on the front corners, so you don't have any excess paper sticking out. Then you can fold the top little tabs in and tuck them into the box and fold them down. Now you can see those little flaps that are happening on the inside of the box. Those are my middle tabs. If you wanted to, you could cut those away. I prefer them there because it gives me a nice edge on the bottom. Now I'm taking the little flower image from the Quilted Christmas stamp set and I inked it up with Lemon Lime Twist, the flower part, and stamped it, and Berry Burst with the other one. And I'm using Berry Burst and Lemon Lime Twist in this whole project because I really wanted some non-traditional colors. So what I'm doing is poking out the little leaf piece from the die, picking it up with my quick stick tool that you can get at any craft store or on Amazon. And then I glued it all down to the front of this box, and I added a faceted gem to the front. So that's what the front of the box looks like. There is a little notch taken out of the front of the box using a circle punch, but I just wanted to show you how I quickly put that box together. Now we're going to make the card. The card's a little bit more intense as far as putting it together. So you're going to use a piece of Whisper White cardstock here to cut out your frame and your pieces that you're going to stamp on. Now prior to this video, I cut out 2 other frames that I'm going to add to this card at the end, but I didn't want to do all of that on video. I'm taking a big piece of Post-it note tape and laying it across the back of this before I peel up all my dies. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to peel off this Post-it note tape here and then peel off these dies. And I really struggled with this because I couldn't get my fingernail under the paper without catching it on the metal. And I was honestly trying to be careful of my fingernails, people. So, pulled off the outside piece. Then I had to very carefully and gently push the paper through and coax all of this out. I need this little frame piece, so I had to be very gentle because remember that sticky Post-it note tape is on the back holding everything in place. I wanted everything held in place because I want to do my stamping, and it's way easier to do your stamping if everything's held in place and still. So I took my Berry Burst ink first and I decided that I was going to stamp that with the striped image. And as soon as I went to stamp this, I realized some of them were off center, so I had to fix it before I finished my stamping. But once I got everything centered up and lined up, the stamping went really quick and easy. So I've got all of this adhered down to that Post-it note tape while I'm doing my stamping. This is a great tip so that you can keep everything in place, but you're not getting any ink on this frame piece that I'm about to place down. So I have a piece of lemon lime twist cardstock that I ran through the brick wall embossing folder, and I'm going to put this first frame down as my guide where to put all of my pieces. So I'm going to hold it with tweezers, and I added a bunch of glue, and then I'm putting it down. So now I've got my guide, and I'm going to be able to put all my pieces in. I sped up through all of that video and cut it out because it's a very time consuming. This is paper piecing, which is kind of fun because this is a quilt card and there is a form of quilting called paper piecing. So I thought it was really fun to kind of sit and piece all of this together, but it is definitely time consuming. This is not a card you would want to try to make a whole bunch of because I'm guessing you would get pretty wore out. So all I'm doing is popping them down in. Now, you might notice that the frame, is what I'm calling it, is raised, and it kind of looks like the images are recessed. And that is because I took those other two frames that I cut out prior to starting the video and layered them up on top of the pieces that I put in. So I ended up with this really cool kind of recessed quilt look. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cool in person. So now I'm taking some berry burst crinkle ribbon and I put it around the bottom there, and then I added my foam tape over the top of the ribbon to hold it in place. And now I'm going to layer that piece down on my piece of Whisper White cardstock. This cardstock was cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and folded in half at the top. The lemon lime twist with the brick wall texture was cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And then I just made a bow out of that same exact ribbon, and I'm going to use a glue dot to put the bow down. I really didn't care for how the tails of the bow weren't facing down, so I went and put some glue dots under those as well and pulled them down, stuck them down. So here's my finished project. You can see that the little piece there was in the bottom corner, and I just love how it turned out. I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you check out Raquelle's video and blog post. We are giving away free printable tutorials to anyone who signs up to get our emails. So make sure you sign up for mine and hers. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'll talk to you soon.